welcome. We're here. We've been here today at Naturalis. Myself, Julian, have been just really deliberating over a lot of the Neogene period. We're in the ice room and we've seen so many amazing things. And behind me is a woolly mammoth. And I can't tell you how in awe I am of the work that goes on here, and so grateful for the people who've given us the time and the opportunity to be here.
These are the Kallar Kahar hills in the salt ranges of Punjab, Pakistan, an area famous for its fossils. I passed through here en route to the famous Khyber salt mines. Along the road, I couldn't help noticing the prominent red rocks, and as a geologist decided to do some research. Based on Shahid Samini's 2009 paper, I learned that this area is one of the world's unique field museums of paleontology. The red rocks could be the Siwaliks rocks of the Neogene period, which is aged between 24 to 2.3 million years ago. This is when India was crashing into Asia and may have uplifted this area. The Siwaliks contain fossils of Gigantopithecus, an ancestral form of the popular primate Gigantopithecus blacki, which lived in neighboring China. To learn more, I've come to Naturalis in Leiden, the Netherlands, to get some answers. Naturalis was named Museum of the Year in 2021. It's a leader in promoting biodiversity and teaching the public about the natural world. I'm joined by esteemed scientists Bart Brown and Julian Cavish-Lubeck. Bart is a communications officer, journalist, and science communicator from the museum. He guided us around the complex during the day and taught us about the woolly mammoth. Julian is a paleontologist and researcher who has studied the life, habits, and extinction of the famous ape Gigantopithecus. His work was published on the cover of Nature 2024 during a postdoc at Cambridge University. In front of us, we see a model of the Netherlands in the last ice age known as the Mammoth Steppe. The shape would be more clear from bird's eye view. Can you see the wolves, early humans, and bison? It reminds me of night at the museum. First things first though, I'm in a museum and I'm wondering, where are all the dinosaurs?
Yeah, so this is the entrance of our Triceratops exhibit that will be here until the end of the summer of 2025. And we have a unique find of 5 Triceratops skeletons inside. But here we show them what we think we looked like in real life. And we have a baby Triceratops, which is asleep. Try not to wake her up. And we have the mummy Triceratops next to it, and if you're close you can actually hear her snoring. It's a very lifelike model. You can see there's wounds in there. She has some ticks feeding off her blood. And what I think is really funny is that people are convinced that the big one is moving. There's no engines inside, it doesn't move. But a lot of people who are looking at this, no, I saw that tail twitching, I can see her breathing, and then she's just not doing it.
We can attest to that. I also thought that the tail moved. So guys, make sure you come and check and see if you can figure out the mystery of the moving tail.
Yeah, well, it does say something about how lifelike the models are. They're made by Dutch paleo artist Remy Bakker, and we're very happy with this work.
Thank you.
In our region of the Salt Range, we did not see, or apparently dinosaur fossils are unlikely to be seen because the area is submerged by, it's submerged. Is this the same case in the Netherlands?
Yeah, so these dinosaurs are from the US, and we have found one dinosaur bone in the Netherlands from this time period, because the Netherlands was a sea back then. Because of the way continents move, the Netherlands were at the position where the Guyanas are now, so the north of South America, and it just drifted very slowly to where it is now on the planet. But back then you could go on a tropical diving holiday. We find big turtles, we find mosasaurus, we find fish, but not dinos.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we would have to, I guess, look inside, check the Siwaliks papers, and maybe ask Julian later if there is evidence of larger marine reptiles at that time as well. But can you tell me a bit about this display?
Yeah, so this here is something that you can only find on one place on the planet. There is almost no evidence that Triceratops lived in herds. There are over 100 Triceratops found, and this is the only one that has been scientifically proven to consist of these 5 or 6 specimens, and we know from our research that they lived and died together.
The geologist Sadiq Mulkani found evidence of dinosaurs west of our Red Hills. Along a track, he saw evidence of a carnivore hunting herbivores in the Jurassic Age. Speaking of tracks, this road is far busier than I'd expect through the mountains. Cyclists, buffaloes, motorbikes, the infamous Pakistani lorry are all trying to get to the town below. In terms of geological time, dinosaurs died 66 million years ago. India crashed into Asia 50 million years ago, forming the Himalayas. Between 23 to 2 million years ago, the Red Hills started to form during the Cenozoic or Age of Mammals. The area changed from mountain to flatland to forest. This affected evolution and gave rise to early versions of giraffes, rhinos, saber-toothed cats, and the ape Gigantopithecus. Are these rocks really where I'd find the fossils of ancient mammals? Did they die next to a river and become preserved? I should ask Julian.
The red beds that you just saw are typical for the Chinese Formation, which is lower Siwaliks. Now, what are these Siwaliks? Siwaliks can refer to a geography, to a region, as well as to a time period. So in terms of geography, the Siwaliks are considered the lower Himalayas, the lower foothills of the Himalayas, from the Potwar Plateau in northwestern Pakistan all the way to the southeast to Nepal. In terms of time, geochronologically, the Siwaliks refer to the period between the Miocene, 23 million years ago, all the way up to the Pleistocene, 2.6 million years ago. This period, the Neogene, was a blooming period of megafauna, mammals, which we can see here.
Yeah, I mean, so this entire room, as you'll see, is just, full of these amazing sort of well-preserved fossils and bones. Is that what we can expect when we could go to the Siwaliks? Because whenever I read papers, the thing that seems to stand out most and that paleontologists focus most on is teeth, which I find very strange.
Yeah, there is a bias towards tooth preservation in the fossil record, and that's to a number of reasons. Well, 2 main reasons are: first, teeth comprise predominantly of hydroxyapatite. You have it in bones as well, but not as predominant as it is found in teeth. And hydroxyapatite is a very hard, dense mineral that is very resistant to weathering, so it can easily survive. The other reason is that predators, such as saber-toothed cats, but also porcupines, favor bones rather than teeth because bones have bone marrow in it. So they like to, sneakily collect their own pile of bones and chew happily on their own pile of bones and just leave the teeth behind, creating a bias in the fossil accumulation that paleontologists find later on.
So let's paint this picture. You're a dying, I don't know, rhino near a riverbank or whatever, and your bones are lying there, and correct me if I'm wrong, but a porcupine in that time or a bit later will come and start collecting your bones.
That's right. First you have hyenas, maybe lions, saber-toothed cats, and then later on you have porcupines. They all have their fair share of the deal, and all that is left are the teeth, and they are being transported by fluvial activity and washed in cavities in the bedrock that is slowly transforming into caves, and the fossils, they are being embedded in the sediments that lithify into breccias and that we will find later.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think one of the predominant animals of interest in the Siwalik regions is the Gigantopithecus, a form of Gigantopithecus, and as we were discussing and as you mentioned off air, that they were originally thought to be cave dwellers because the teeth were found in them. Is that correct?
Yes, when the first Gigantopithecus fossils were found, for example in China, they thought that these giant apes actually lived in caves. Now we know that it is of course due to taphonomy, due to the shape of the caves, due to the inwash from fluvial activity, as well as selection by predators, that it is just, caves are just a very good storage room, time capsules, for fossils.
So maybe in the future we will also be identified by our teeth, which is a pretty sad and scary and I guess interesting way to look at the world. Ladies and gentlemen, for scale, wow.
Or I can just do it like this, right?
Yeah.
You can actually
Wow. That's crazy. So talk me through it. What are some of the differences that we can see?
So the main difference is that these guys, pongins, especially Gigantopithecus, have very thick enamel, unlike humans. They also have very robust jaws, and they have a different tooth root morphology. All of this is related to their different evolutionary pathways as well as different diets.
Amazing, and the size of the jaw is much smaller as well. And these things that you have attached, are these remnants of like a faceplate or something like that we see in orangutans?
This is the ramus, so it's the upper part of the lower jaw. You can actually feel it here under your ear. What you see here is only the part that we have found is shaded in brown, which is the lower part of the mandible. And this upper part of the mandible we didn't find, so it's a reconstruction. It's based on allometric scaling of the teeth. The other type of Gigantopithecus is the giant one from the Pleistocene of China that lived around 2 million years ago up to 250,000 years ago. And we published the cause of its extinction in Nature last January. And you can think of this creature, Gigantopithecus blacki, the giant one, the younger version of the one that we found in the Siwaliks, this younger version. You can think of it as a big-ass gorilla, probably triple the size of a mountain gorilla, dressed in an orangutan outfit. While the younger derived form looked like a gorilla dressed in an orangutan outfit, the smaller one looked more like a chimp. So Indopithecus looked more like a chimp dressed in an orangutan outfit. Both were pongines, so similarly to the modern orangutan, they had cheek pads.
This mammoth is an adult male, a bull mammoth, or actually 300 of them. The thing is, most of the mammoth bones we find in the Netherlands are brought up by fishermen, nearly all of them actually. And a fisherman typically finds one bone. The bones get dispersed by the waves and the fact that there's a fisherman fishing for them. So almost every bone in this mammoth is from a different specimen. And you can actually see this if you zoom in, where they have slightly different colors or the sizes are just off from what you would expect. So this is like a Frankenstein's mammoth.
Okay. And I mean, when the fishermen find these fossils, what kind of bedrock are they preserved in? Are they just loosely in?
They're typically in the sand of the North Sea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're not in bedrock.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
We actually have the biggest collection of mammoths in the planet because they used to live right here.
Yeah.
Which is why you get. So we have dinosaurs from the US in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Because they have a lot of dinosaurs and we have a lot of mammoths. So in US museums you will see Dutch mammoths. And this is cross-Atlantic trade in fossils from different time periods and species.
And was there a lot of interaction between people and mammoths?
Well, here in the Netherlands, no. Because there simply were not that many people around back when we had mammoths here.
Yeah.
There is some evidence that humans caused the extinction of mammoths. Oh. They survived several ice ages, and then during the last ice age there were humans present, and then at the end of the ice age there were no mammoths anymore.
That was it, our journey through geological time. Thank you for being attentive, guys. Hope you learned something. Thank you to Bart, Julian, Naturalis for the opportunity. We learned so much about dinosaurs and amazing mammals in the past. We hope to make more content for you in the future. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye.